real estate is a disease. That's not true. Real estate is the way that most people get wealthy in the US more than any other. But when you buy real estate, it can come with a lot of germs on it. So a title company is like a germ filter for real estate. In the last video, I talked about attachments on real estate, like leaves on a tree. If you missed that one, go ahead and click the link right now and watch it. I talked about debts and liabilities on real estate that you can't see. I called them leaves before. Now I'm calling them germs. It might be confusing. I love analogies. Let me explain. Let me give you an idea of a real world example that comes up a lot. Common name judgments. So this is an example of how the legal system sometimes actually gets in our way. In the United States, you can sue anyone for anything. All you need is a name. You don't need address, you don't need the social security number, nothing, just a name. So let's say in an extreme example, your name is John Smith and you're selling real estate. Now, while you may pay your bills and you may be law-abiding, there's hundreds or even thousands of other people, especially if you live in a big city, named John Smith, that I'm sure have pending litigation against them, judgments, liens. We've seen situations where there are literally 700, 800, 900 pages or more pages of judgments and liens that we have to sort through. So it can be really tedious, take a lot of time, it's a lot of effort. If you're buying that property, maybe one or two of those judgments for John Smith are actually real, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. And if it's missed, if we miss that, you just bought someone else's debt. One of the things that's been in the news lately with all the new tax laws coming out is the inheritance tax, or what they call death tax. So that's a federal tax. They raised the limitations, so a lot less people will have to pay that tax than they did before. But that's a federal tax. It's not a state tax. There are 19 states in the United States that still collect a state-level inheritance or estate tax of some kind. So you're not off the hook. Now, if this is the first time you're hearing about this, don't worry, you're not alone. A lot of people that don't have large or complicated estates don't know anything about it. If you don't hire an attorney to get you through the estate process when someone dies, often you just don't know and you don't file the state-level inheritance tax that may be due. Now, it's just like income tax. You may not owe the tax. Your tax balance may be zero, but you still have to file the return. And if you don't file the return, it will become automatically liened against any real estate, against the property of the person that passed away 9 months after. So Uncle Cecil dies. Time goes by, nothing happens. Aunt Betsy gets the house. Uncle Cecil and Aunt Betsy were married, so she gets the house, no question. There's no legal question as the fact that she becomes the owner of the property because they were married, but the estate still has to file the tax return. She still has to file a tax return for Uncle Cecil. So Aunt Betsy didn't know this, and she went on living in the house for years, and time went by, and now she wants to sell the house. Well, guess what? She never filed a tax return. It doesn't matter when. There's a lien on this property, and that lien comes ahead of anything else. And you won't get a mortgage on this property. No buyer is going to get a mortgage on this property without that lien from the state being resolved, because it comes first. Now, you know what I'm going to say. Without a title company to find this and help resolve it, and it is resolvable, by the way, you're buying Uncle Cecil's debt.